Sing me a song of a lass that is gone.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylee and it is Tuesday, which means it is Droughtlander Day. So if you're new to the channel and you're asking yourself, what is Droughtlander? What is it about? Well, Droughtlander is basically the time of year where us Outlander fans have nothing to watch or read. We are all currently in a mix of rereads and rewatches because a lot of us just have it on loop. I myself am guilty of that and have constantly just TV show season after season after season is playing every single day. With that in mind, I am bringing out Outlander content every single Tuesday to try and help relieve some of the Droughtlander boredom that I know all of us Outlander fans have. If you have absolutely no idea what Outlander is and you're like, Kaylee, usually your videos are about true crime and your travel videos, well, I need to introduce you to Outlander because it is by far my favourite book series of all time. Saying that, it's also now my favourite TV show of all time. They have ticked two of my biggest entertainment boxes with one show / series / book / genre. I'm absolutely in love with this series. I cannot recommend it enough. If you're looking for something to read during lockdown, during COVID, during anything like that, during your kids' sport matches that you don't want to watch, during your time alone and you're like, what will I read? I cannot express enough. Go get yourself a copy of Outlander, be it audio, be it book, be it Kindle, be it whatever. Start your journey today if you have never watched or seen or read Outlander. But if you're already like me and you have already fallen down the rabbit hole that is Outlander, you've read the books, you've watched the TV series, I'm now going to give you today's video, which is 5 random facts about Outlander that you may not have already known. Random fact number 1, did you know that Outlander was inspired by a Doctor Who episode? Now this blew my mind. I have never seen Doctor Who, but I know it is one of those shows that has been around for a very long time, which means it undoubtedly has very big, strong fan base. So when I went looking into this episode that may have inspired our amazing Jamie Fraser and the series of Outlander, I found that the character that Diana was referencing was actually called Jamie McCrinnan and featured in 3 whole seasons of the show. Another small fun fact about this was that the character Jamie McCrinnan was actually played by Fraser Hines. When I started to look into if Fraser Hines was actually the full inspiration for how we got Jamie Fraser, I did read that Diana said no, it wasn't, it was just a coincidence because she didn't even realise that Fraser Hines was the actor who played Jamie McCrinnan. As I said, personally, I've never watched Doctor Who, but knowing this information, it does actually make me want to go and watch the show, especially considering it wasn't just one episode that this character features in. He's actually in 3 seasons and then has additional guest appearances later on. So now I'm like, oh, I want to jump into that world and see if there's any other small connections. I mean, I know there probably won't be, but wow, like it automatically draws me in because of the connection. And now I'm like, will I become a Doctor Who fan? I don't know. We'll find out because I'm most certainly going to watch at least 1 episode. Random fact number 2, did you know that Outlander was almost a feature film instead of a TV series? Now, can you imagine a world where Outlander was just a 2-hour long movie and the entire book or even what happened in the entire first season was crammed into a 2-hour movie? I am so grateful that this never happened and it didn't come across or it didn't come out like this. I mean, I would have been very grateful when it happened, but now as someone from TV series land that, we've experienced the joy of the TV show, I'm so thankful that this never happened. Now, I know there are some fans out there of Outlander who despise the TV series and only love the books, and I totally respect that. Everyone is valid to their own opinions, but I personally love the TV series, and the thought of it being a 2-hour movie instead of a TV series now breaks my heart. So glad it never happened. And another little random fact included in this one, Katherine Heigl was actually the main contender to play Claire, and it was speculated that she was actually already in talks for the position of Claire in the movie. That's crazy. Now, Katherine Heigl is probably best known, in my world, she's best known to be in Grey's Anatomy. So I just can't picture her as Claire. I mean, now though, Katrina Balfe will forever be my TV inspiration for Claire. She will always be Claire to me now. Even when I read the books now, I do notice myself picturing the TV characters as the characters when I read the books, whereas when I read the books, do you know what I mean? Like that has it changed for anybody else? So when you initially read the books, did you have these characters pictured in your mind of what you believe they look like? And now you're slowly bringing the TV versions in, and they're what you're picturing when you reread books? I'd love to know that, actually, because I know that's slowly happening for me. Sticking with the theme of talking about Claire, that brings me to random fact number 3. Now, did you know that Katrina Balfe was cast to play Claire only weeks before filming was to begin? Now, initially, the producers of Outlander thought that they were going to be able to find Claire right at the start of their casting search, and that eventually they would get down and they would find Jamie last and have it all sort of knitted and fitted in together. That did not work at all, and Sam Heughan, our beloved Jamie Fraser, was actually cast first, and Katrina Balfe, our beloved Claire, was cast very last. One of my favourite behind-the-scenes moments from the casting was actually this amazing moment between Sam Heughan and Katrina Balfe, and it's one of the very first interactions that they have, and seeing if the characters fit and if their personalities and if there's chemistry. I mean, obviously there is a lot of chemistry here, and yeah, this was one of my all-time favourite behind-the-scenes moments. So if you're like myself and you have been a fan of the TV series since day one and you were a part of the hype and the build-up before the actual season premiered, did you know that the delay of season 1 was actually caused by the Sony Pictures hack? Now, this is random fact number 4, and I want to go into what actually happened and why season 1 was delayed for its premiere release. So in November of 2014, a hacker group known as the Peace of Guardians hacked the Sony Pictures database, and thousands of confidential emails, scripts, personal information, things like that were all stolen from Sony Pictures. Now, this was all because they were going to be releasing a movie called The Interview, which was like a comedy against North Korea. The rippling effect through Hollywood because of this hack was astronomical, and it affected things like the James Bond Spectrum movie at the time. Its script was leaked out to the world. There was information about the new Spider-Man movies that were being made at the time that was leaked to the world. There was just so many rumors and private emails between like head producers that were leaked. The world found out that they were in talks with Nintendo to release a new Super Mario's movie at the time. It was just astronomical, the amount of information that these hackers had, and that they were going to send out if they didn't stop the release of this film. They had even threatened for terrorist attacks to go against the cinemas that showed The Interview on the premiere day. It was extreme. And if you don't know about it, I highly recommend, have a Google. It was like the facts that, and the things that were slipped out during that time is just astronomical. Now, in regards to Outlander, it was then revealed that the UK Prime Minister at the time, David Cameron, had actually asked Sony not to release Outlander just quite yet. At the time of the Outlander premiere, the UK was actually about to vote and decide if Scotland was going to stay a part of the UK. It was clearly firmly believed that this series was going to influence voters and which way they would vote for this historic vote. How crazy is that? A TV show / book series can influence the entire voting ability of a nation. Sony Pictures did actually agree to this, and they delayed the season 1 premiere until after the historic vote. Random fact 5 comes from my visual appreciation of Outlander. And no, I'm not talking about our beloved Jamie Fraser, although he is very visually appealing to a lot of people. I am actually talking about the costumes used in the TV series Outlander. Did you know they are physically tortured? Now, when I say tortured, I don't mean like Jamie and the blackjack scene. Don't get all scared and skip off. I know a lot of people don't watch the Wentworth episode, but I'm talking about tortured as in well, physically tortured. The costume designers have so many different tips and tricks to get the clothing to look like it belongs in that time period. I found it absolutely fascinating to learn some of the ways that they make the clothing look older and make it look like it's from that time. And I mean, physically torturing these costumes is what was happening. They tie them up, they stretch them, they pull at them, they rip them, they use cheese graters on them. Now, when I read that they use like a cheese grater to make them look older, I thought that is fantastic. And I don't mean that in a creepy, like, let's torture things way. I mean, who would come up with the idea of using a cheese grater to make something look older? It just wouldn't even come into my mind that a cheese grater. Let's scrub the clothes across cheese graters. The amazing costumes of Outlander, just, I mean, the costumes. One day I will do a video wholly and solely on the costumes of Outlander because they deserve their own video. They're just some of the most spectacular things I've ever seen. Now, people have constantly DM'd me and asked me about the patches or the swatches of fabric behind me here. Now, one day I will do a video for them too. Again, I say I'm very passionate about the costumes, but these are all swatches of fabric used in the costumes of Outlander. One day I will do a video all on them and I'll do some close-ups, but they are some of my most treasured items. Again, that probably throws in how much of a passionate person I am about the costumes. But again, the torturing of them, please don't think, Kaylee, you're a creep and you like to torture clothing. I don't. I just find it fascinating that there are so many amazing people out there that can think of these things and think of ways to make things look older and in their proper time. I hope today's video has given you a few moments of relief from Droughtlander, and if there is anything that you would like to see me discuss or go and research for you about Outlander, please drop it in the comments below. I'd love to know what kind of Outlander content you guys actually want to see. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please consider doing so. It really does help the channel grow. I can't wait to see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye.
Sing me a song of